Now, in order to use the dashboard features that I'm going to show you, you want to have your data formatted as a table. So now I'm demonstrating this on Excel 2016, which is the newest version of Microsoft Excel as of this recording. It's also the version of Excel that you get when you have Excel 2000s, when you get Office 365. If you have Excel 2013, then these features should work as well. All right. Now, I'll try to make my mouse. Sometimes I'll highlight my mouse by doing that and draw your attention to my mouse that way. Now, right now we see an Excel spreadsheet. Now, this workbook has 4 different sheets, and I'm actually going to involve all 4 of those sheets into our presentation. Now, notice how we have the customer sheet, the order sheet, and the employee sheet, and the shippers. Now, notice right now they're all normal data, or I'll just call that raw data. So let's see what we can do about that. In order to use the features that I'm going to show you, you want to make your data into what we call a formatted table. It doesn't take long to do that. It is very, very important that each of the sheets have the field names up top, all right? And then it's one continuous block of data all the way down. So I'm going to click on one cell within the block of data, and I'll pick on the Home menu up top. Then we're going to come over here, and I'll pick on the word Format as a Table. And then you have all these different styles. Now, I like to use this one because every other row will be that shaded color, but any of the formatted tables will work. I'm going to click on this one. Now, you make sure that you check this box where it says My Table Has Headers. Make sure you check that when, in fact, you have the headers up top. So I'll click on OK. Now, this is a formatted table, all right? Now, what I would recommend to you is that you give your formatted table a better name. Here's how we would do that. See how the sheets are already named fine, but you want to give your table a better name. So what I'll do is I'll pick on the Design menu up top. You get the Design menu when you get one of these formatted tables. Then I'll come over here where it says Table 1, and there I will type in Customers. We'll see why it's important to give those a better name pretty soon. Now, I must have already used that in the previous example, so I'll just call it Customers 1. And that's fine. Now, we'll do the same thing on the order sheet. I'll pick on Orders. You see how right now it's just normal data. So I'll pick on Format as a Table. Now, you don't have to pick the same style as before, but I am going to pick the same one. I'll pick on this one. And then notice how it's already checked. Where it says My Table Has Headers, you do want to make sure that that is checked. I'll pick on OK. And now this is a formatted table. Now let's give this one a better name. I'll call that one Orders 1. And that's fine. All right, so we'll go to the employee sheet and do the same thing. Notice how all of the sheets have the field names up top. That's very important. So we'll do Format as a Table. I'll go with this one again. And notice how it's already checked where it says My Table Has Headers. And now we have a formatted table there. I'll call this one Employees 1 as the table name. You can see where I am. Right up here. Good, and we have one more. So I'll pick in the shippers table, the shippers sheet. There's only a couple shippers, but we're going to format that one as a table as well. Good. And then you can see where I'm going to go right up here. Of course, we'll give it a better table name. Now, we can start showing you some of the dashboard features actually right away. If I go to the order sheet, here's that formatted table. Now, when you do have a formatted table, it gives you the pull downs for the filter. That's included right away. So you can do your normal sort and your normal filter. But we can add something that's called a slicer even into one of these formatted tables. This started in Excel 2013 where you can add the slicer onto a formatted table. Let me show you the benefit of that. To add the slicer in, here's one way. I'll pick on the Insert menu, and then under the Insert menu, I'll come over here and pick on Slicer, right there. Now your slicers are made up of your fields. So I'll choose employee ID and I'll use ship country. Now I could have chosen as many as I wanted to, but this will make the point that I'm trying to make. So I chose employee ID and ship country. These are slicer windows. So this is our first component of the dashboard today. So now to make it work with one of these formatted tables, you have to be either in Excel 2013 or Excel 2016. So notice in the employee ID column over here, you have lots of different employee IDs. But on the employee ID slicer, I'll pick on number 4. Now it's only going to show me the records for employee 4, you see. So the slicer is a new way to do a filter, except it's very visual. Now I'll come over here and pick on Denmark. Now there's only a few records that are employee 4 and Denmark at the same time over here, you see. So it's a great way to show the exact records that you're looking for. These are called slicers. It's a new way to do a filter. And this is part of what Microsoft calls a dashboard. Now to pick more than one from each column, on the new version of Excel, I can pick on these little check marks. If you have the old version, like if you have 2013, you would hold down the Control key. But now if you have this icon, I'm going to click on that. And now it'll let me pick more than one. So I'll pick 3, 4, and 6. See how it has to be employee 3, 4, and 6, and it has to be Denmark at the same time. Now I'll pick on the check mark over here, and I'll pick on Brazil and Finland. And now we have all those different combinations. Imagine if you had 3 or 4 slicer windows open, or even more. Imagine different combinations of data you can do. So I just think this is a great feature. Now, to get everything back again, I'll pick on this little X on the corner of the slicer window. I'll pick on this X, and I'll pick on this X, and then everything is back. So when you have a formatted table, you can actually turn the slicers on right away, and that'll be our first part of the showing you the dashboard today. Now, I can leave those slicer windows there, or I can also delete them. To delete them, I'm going to pick on the word ship country, and then I'm going to hit my delete key on my keyboard. And I'll pick on the word employee ID, and I'll delete that. The way I added those in is I have one of these formatted tables. Then I pick for the insert menu up top. Then I came over here and picked on the word slicer. And your slicers are made up of your fields, and you can choose as many as you wanted to. So now we're going to talk about seeing the slicers as part of the pivot table. All right, so now we're actually going to be able to make a pivot table using fields from all 4 of these sheets. And then I'll show you more of this, the dashboard components. So the customer sheet has a list of all the customers. The order sheet is a list of all the orders those people made. If you notice, the order sheet has a field called employee ID, but it doesn't really show the employee's name. The employee's name could be in the employee sheet. Now notice how this one also has the employee ID field. That's going to be important to tie those together. Now the order sheet also has a field that's called ship via, and it says 1, 2, and 3. And then over here I have the shippers table, and then you see that information with the full shipper's name. So we're going to make a pivot table using fields from all 4 of those sheets, and that'll actually make Excel into a relational database, and then we can go into the dashboard components.